Thank you. The Honorable Clive Gisairo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On the onset, first, Honorable Speaker.
Very kindly, Honorable Gisairo, let me just recognize these students. I know some of them are leaving. Honorable members, seated in the Speaker's Gallery this morning, we have students from St. George's Girls, Nairobi, from Dagoretti North Constituency, Nairobi County. And also, I would like to recognize students seated in the public gallery this afternoon. Students from St. Teresa Primary School, Embakasi West Constituency, Nairobi County, you are welcome to the National Assembly to continue observing proceedings of the House. You may proceed, Honorable Gisairo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Right from the onset, Honorable Speaker, I do support the report and the proposals therein. Honorable Speaker, I will dwell on 2 or 3 sectors stated in the report. And first of all, Honorable Speaker, I will start with the education sector. And I also would like, could have wished that Honorable Japheth Nyakundi could have been here, because he equally may have not gone through the report, despite sitting in that committee. Honorable Speaker, while we say that the budget has increased to 781 billion in the education sector, we also need to be awake and alive to the fact that the student count has also been increasing at the same rate or even at a higher rate than the amounts we're increasing. Honorable Speaker, we have to realize that even the capitation has always been falling short, both for primary schools and the senior school. And with this, if it continues, we are going to have an entire systems collapse, because all schools are not able to meet their day-to-day expenses, and the school head teachers and principals are struggling to run the schools, and therefore heavily depending on the NGCDF for infrastructure and other kind of support through bursaries. Honorable Speaker, while we say that 56.7 billion has been allocated to the Higher Education Loans Board, this is gross underfunding of that board. Honorable Speaker, right now the board is only able to give money for upkeep for students and not able to send the capitation amount for these students in scholarships and loans that is meant directly to go to the universities themselves. And this has led to universities now accumulating a pending bill of now exceeding 100 billion. Honorable Speaker, this affects the quality in the higher institutions of learning and therefore compromises the quality of graduates that we are releasing to the country. Honorable Speaker, another issue in the education sector is the research allocation of the budget. For any developed country, if we want to reach the dreams that we are having and proclaiming out there, we must have this country invest in research. Honorable Speaker, we are yet to reach even 1% allocation into research of our GDP. As it were, we are gyrating below 0.8%. There is no way we'll become a first world economy if we are not going to put more resources into research and development into the State Department of Research. As long as we keep underfunding that State Department and research in this country, we will continue being a third world country and only hoping for a better country. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya National Examination Council has been given 9.9 billion as per this report. I'm made to understand an extra 1.5 billion will be allocated to give it approximately 11.4 billion. Honorable Speaker, NEC has always been underfunded. Last year alone, they were underfunded by almost 4.2 billion. And this is the reason whereby examiners are not even being paid on time, and up to date, those who were examined last year have not been paid. Honorable Speaker, this year, they required approximately 14 billion. We are still underfunding them to a point we are actually budgeting to have a pending bill, over and above the 4.2. If this trend continues in the next 2 financial years, Kenya National Examination Council will be having pending bills more than their request for that financial year. Honorable Speaker, my ask would have been that we start capitating examination money. The same way we send capitation, money following the student, exam money sent to NEC is not equivalent to the number of students. We just give a round figure, not take into consideration how many students we have sitting for examination. If we use the capitation model, then we'll address the Kenya National Examination Council problems, have invigilators and examiners well paid, and this will improve the quality of exam and exam environment that we have. Otherwise, in the next few years, we'll not have even examiners to examine or invigilate and mark those examinations. Honorable Speaker, when we look at the youth, we do note here that 4.7 billion has been put into the Nyota program. While we all agree that this is a donor-funded program, and it was well-intended, we need also to have statistics, the beneficiaries, and the success rate, which we can independently verify. I heard the chair say that in this county, he has seen success rate. That is commendable. But, Honorable Speaker, I don't have a single case in my constituency. And many members here cannot point to any case, but they will stand and say in their county, we want things that are verifiable, not by the respective leaders of that area, but any member, because this is public funds. Any member of the public should be able to verify that this is the success story and this is what these monies are doing. Otherwise, we'll end up in the same direction of the Hustler Fund, which we do not know who are the beneficiaries, at what rate they've grown, what is the success rate, and something that we can verify. I would request that I don't be interrupted after sitting here for all those hours. I will not be added. I have not spoken anything out of order.
Well,
Honorable Speaker.
Chair, you requested for a point of order or point of information?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Is it a point of order, Chairman?
Point of information.
You know, if it's a point of information, I'm going to ask the honorable member whether he is willing to be informed.
I'm not willing to be informed.
So if
because
he's not
I'm
willing to be
properly
informed, unfortunately,
and
I'll
the
ask
chair,
him to
I'm actually
continue.
done informing the chair.
Thank you.
So, Honorable Speaker, what we are saying is, while these funds are going to the youths, something that we as leaders will not have a problem supporting, we will need to be able to see the success story behind these people without being read by the chair telling us that it's successful without any supporting evidence. Honorable Speaker, we've allocated 12.5 billion to support youth training at the National Youth Service, NYS. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Gisero, I have a point of order from the chair budget. So proceed and prosecute your point of order. What is out of order, Honorable Chair, person for budget?
What I was trying to tell the Honorable Member Clive is that on Nyota is not a selective program. It is a program that is conducted in each and every constituency, the 290 constituencies in Kenya. So I think it is not in order for the Honorable Member to claim that in his constituency there is no single program of Nyota. If you lack information, I'll be able to provide you that
details of who are the beneficiaries in your constituency. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker,
That's a valid point of order.
that's the interruption I requested not to have.
From a point of, speaking from a point of fact.
Because
So
that
it's a
is
valid
not
point
what
of
I
order.
said. What I said, Honorable Speaker, is that I do not have the detail that I can verify. I did not say there is no beneficiary. As I said, Honorable Speaker, the chair just his intention is to disrupt me. Let him also be attentive and listen to the proceedings keenly by putting his phone aside. Honorable Speaker, we've allocated 12.5 billion to NYS. Honorable Speaker, this can be a very productive program. But if you notice nowadays, no youth are interested in attending the recruitment process of NYS. The reason being we do not give these young people the end game of attending the NYS. Why do the security agencies, while they need to recruit, why not go to NYS records and pick the students who benefited from NYS and automatically transition them to the security agencies? This will encourage young people to join the NYS and learn from it. And that will get more youths off the streets to join NYS, get proper training to become patriots and productive in this country. So, Honorable Speaker, I hope I'll be added a few seconds, courtesy of Honorable Atandi. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, the confirmation of the 20,000 is underwhelming. Going by the court cases, I felt that we should have confirmed the entire 44,000, just in case the ruling goes against the TSC, which will render the
Give him a minute because of the interruptions.
Thank you. We'll make the 24,000 student intern teachers who will be remaining outside to be automatically jobless. The assertion that the government has employed 100,000 teachers, there is nothing further from the truth. What the government has employed is 56,044 interns and plans to employ an additional 20,000 by confirming 20,000 interns. Therefore, in total, the government will have employed 76,000 students and not the 100,000 students. Internship is not employment. Internship is, by description, I see my chair really itching to correct me. Internship is like a training. It is not
I can
employment.
see a point of order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have
There is a
finished.
point
There is
of
no
order
need to
by
have a
the
point
chair.
of order.
Chair, unfortunately, he has already finalized prosecuting that matter, so your point of order cannot be prosecuted. Honorable members, I see so many people would like to speak, but the person at the top is the Honorable Rindikiri Mogambi, member for Buhuri.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a very important annual program that we all need to be given a time to explain to the Kenyans, because I believe we are not talking to ourselves, we are talking to the Kenyans. Madam Speaker, I join my colleagues in applauding the successful presentation by the chairman and the entire committee on budget. Madam Speaker, my keen interest is on the State Department of Housing and Urban Planning and Public Works. Madam Speaker, I heard a member state that housing is not a priority for the Kenyan budget, but I am here to remind anybody with that kind of thought that housing is an aspect that is anchored in our Constitution. And I want to applaud the bold step the ruling party and the ruling government has taken to implement the housing programs. Madam Speaker, on the budget 1094, you will notice that there are key things that we are targeting to achieve in the following financial year. Madam Speaker, let's not lose sight that housing is not only providing shelter, but it's also a source of employment. Madam Speaker, we have direct and indirect employment as a result of the housing programs that we are developing. Madam Speaker, it's a skills transfer opportunity. Madam Speaker, we have about 4,500 interns right now who are in various sites where we are doing housing programs, ESP market, institutional housing, Nairobi Labor's programs, and also the civil servants housing units. These are gaining experience, and we believe that at the end of it all, the employment of our youth will improve, and equipping them with the right technology. Madam Speaker, we are requesting for support, and the committee...
I see 2 points of order here, one by the Honorable Harrison Kombe. And the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, I'm assuming that you guys are intending to speak? Okay. You may continue, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We are also, through housing, it is causing an indirect spell economic improvement programs, particularly manufacturing, transport, etc. So, Madam Speaker, really, the ones who are bringing down the issue of housing, they really don't understand the concept of housing. Madam Speaker, we have over 790 ongoing projects associated with housing. Madam Speaker, there are so many counties or constituencies that have not been covered. So we made a presentation, Madam Speaker, that we consider that we don't slow the pace of these projects. Because, Madam Speaker, if we slow, we will slow the aspect of housing, employment, and also the other consequential effect which come as a result of housing. Madam Speaker, we have had a conversation with the chairman of budget, and we have agreed on the way forward because we are requesting for 150 billion, which includes about 50 billion that will come from the sales of housing, and another 100 billion which will come through securitization. But, Madam Speaker, we have agreed on the way forward. We have consulted the Treasury, and therefore, because I know many people are going to look and find out what really happened, we have agreed on the way forward on that. So I want to approach the committee for taking that initial step. Madam Speaker, the issue of equity, and when we're talking about the issue of equity and equality, Madam Speaker, there are counties which haven't benefited from this, from the housing levy fund. And it is our view that those counties are given opportunity. So when we are asking for additional funding, we really know exactly what those countries which are not covered. And Madam Speaker, if you go to Mombasa, Nairobi, the biggest cities, that's where the largest amount of housing demand is. And we cannot put our hands under the sun. So we must continue with this program. We must continue to have it funded. I had the privilege of being in Mombasa, and you can see all the housing units that have been put in Mombasa, Kirifi, and Kwale. They have all been applied for, and actually the demand is doubling. So we'll continue developing the housing sector. Madam Speaker, there is also the institutional housing, which is going towards creation of accommodation for the students. Not every student is down from large families. So we feel that this is going to enhancing the student accommodation, the civil servant also. The Nairobi Liver Commission, Madam Speaker, is doing a great job. And I want to ask the members, please support this budget, because majority of the amount that we are putting on the metropolitan and the urban and metropolitan money is going towards Nairobi Liver's development. We are not talking about Nairobi Liver, we are talking about Nairobi Livers. So, and it is a support system in the chain of housing. So you really cannot separate the two, because we are doing the market and we are doing the housing next door. And we are developing that infrastructure so that it will be a comprehensive program. And in any case, we are improving our environment. Madam Speaker, the issue of KISIP and the KUSIP, which falls under our department, we are requesting for 500 million to go towards completion as a government commitment. Unfortunately, this was not considered, but again, we have since agreed with the Treasury on the way forward, and I want to thank the committee for looking at that as a special case, because, Madam Speaker, we have, particularly in KUSIP, we have 79 municipalities, and the two of them are the ones that are funded by donors. That is Dadaab and Kakuma. Madam Speaker, we are in good terms with our donors, and we don't want to disappoint them, but because of the the economic situations and the source of revenue, it has been agreed that we will look at that as a supplementary point. Madam Speaker, that's, and then we have the public works, and I want to thank the committee for listening to our prayer of trying to ensure that this State Department is not crippled. Madam Speaker, this is the department that does the supervision of many programs the government is doing in housing, and also the coast line infrastructure. So we want to thank the committee because they have looked and agreed that we need more money, and they have handed to us about 128 million shillings towards these programs. Madam Speaker, I will not finish without touching that overall the budget is good, but my emphasis, I would like more money put in education, just like everybody has said. The government has really tried very much. The volume of money that we have seen increase for the last 3 years. And the demand is also increasing. But really, let's say something positive has been done. Madam Speaker, we have issues of capitation. Madam Speaker, we have issues of recruitment of teachers, which we are seeing increase over the years, and we really want to encourage that more money is put in this program. We also would like all the institutions to have the correct infrastructure, Madam Speaker. We have to create a situation learning environment, and therefore the government should continue putting more money on the education sector besides the capitation. Madam Speaker, I am concerned about the equipping of the ICT hubs, which majority of these members are put up. Bore, we have put 6 of them. We have put the fittings, fixtures and fittings. We are now waiting for the computers. I hope and believe even some of these reductions I've seen, they have taken into account the supply or equipping of the computers now that majority of these members are waiting for. Madam Speaker, this is very key because of employment of our youth. And secondly, we want to create self-employment opportunities. Madam Speaker, the other issue, and I want to congratulate this Parliament and this committee for taking a lot of keen interest on the health sector. And Madam Speaker, I learned a statement that Kenyan Parliament has passed a very important bill. That bill should be accompanied with serious financing. Because everywhere they cry right now is health, 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 health. So I am happy to note that the government is really very keen on this aspect also. Madam Speaker, before I finish, let me point out this. There are some areas that are not equally represented. And I must point out, particularly on the areas of water and electricity. Going forward, I think that's the most important thing, is the budget committee should try as much as possible to have resources, the thin resources, distributed as much as possible across the counties, and particularly the areas that have been marginalized for a long time. So, Chairman, budget, I think we'll be watching very keenly because we don't want to go backward and finding some areas are getting more and others are getting less. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I support and ask that going forward, let's be our brother's keeper. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members seated in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students from Muvuti Boys School from Machakos constituency, Machakos County. And we also have seated in the speakers gallery this afternoon, students from Mount Kinangop Girls School from Kinangop constituency, Nyandarua County. You are welcome to the National Assembly to continue observing proceedings of the House. The Honorable David Ndakwa, member for Malava.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to rise and support this budget estimates for the year 2026-27, while proposing a great allocation of resources in the areas that directly improve the lives of our people. First of all, Madam Speaker, I give my congratulations to the Budget Committee led by our EPO Chair, Honorable Atandi, for giving us a credible document that we look into and make some observations. Madam Speaker, I draw my attention to this House on the important role played by the area elders in this country. Madam Speaker, these are men and women who are always gotten on the first point, the first online, first in resolving family disputes with the little capacity in understanding law, but using their wisdom, security without sophisticated machineries, and also the social challenges, Madam Speaker, that are within our communities. Looking at land disputes, where they have no law to understand, but they make it to a reality by resolving the conflicts. Madam Speaker, looking at the peace of our society, the fabrics is very delicate. They always bring our societies together in the name of cohesion. And they also try to tackle society and grassroots governance. Madam Speaker, they have been doing a lot without any stipends in terms of monetary allocation. And to them, it has been no facilitation at all, but they have been dedicated to their duties. I like to give credit to the government and the budget committee for coming out in their own wisdom and feel that they provide a regular stipend, which should be structured 3K per month as a recognition for their service to this nation. That one, I must say, it is the realization and a dream come true where my predecessor, Honorable Malulu Injenti, had come up with a motion for the area elders to have something at the end of the month. Madam Speaker, I want to emphasize on the increased funding on the youth. Youth are the investment of this country.
Order, Honorable Dakwa. Honorable members, I know that several of you had expressed interest. The Honorable Joshua Mwali, Honorable Harrison Kombe, Honorable Joshua Meli, and Honorable Zamzam from Mombasa. We encourage you to come when it's next scheduled. Honorable members, the Honorable Ndakwa will have 6 minutes to continue debate on this. Honorable members, and the time now being 1 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Wednesday, 3rd June 2026 at 2:30 p.m.
following invitations by the Senate to appear before the Senate plenary sitting and to respond to various concerns that are usually forwarded to the ministry. These are concerns that are raised by the members of the Senate, matters that could be relating to county, inter-county, national, regional, or even international concerns, and the matters that are usually forwarded to the ministry prior the cabinet secretary's appearance before the floor of the Senate. And this morning, the cabinet secretary that is scheduled to appear before the Senate is the cabinet secretary for mining, blue economy, and maritime affairs, Honorable Hassan Joho. And that stand is where the cabinet secretary, once he is ushered into the chamber, will be able to take that position and be able to respond or give a comprehensive response to the questions or concerns that his ministry was required to respond to or give answers to. And this particular morning, if the cabinet secretary makes his way to Parliament and gets into the chamber, he will be responding to a question. It's one question that was forwarded to the ministry. This question is by the Senator for Kisumu County, Honorable Professor Tom Ojienda. And the questions that the cabinet secretary will be responding to is around the programs on the blue economy, the status of all the blue economy programs that are being undertaken by the national government. And this is specifically in Kisumu County since the year 2022. And that the cabinet secretary should also indicate timelines for completion of all pending projects. But of course, you understand that this being the primary questions, also members of the Senate usually have an opportunity to ask questions. Those are supplementary questions, of course, in line or that are related to the primary questions. So much as this question is asking about the blue economy programs that are being undertaken in Kisumu County, then also other members can also inquire about the same for the areas that have water bodies or are might benefit from the blue economy programs. Also in the same line is that the senator will want to understand from the cabinet secretary or from the ministry the current infrastructural condition and operational status of landing sites, cold chain facilities, and other key blue economy infrastructure in Kisumu County. On the same breath, the cabinet secretary will be responding to any impacts that the blue economy has had, that is its interventions that are being implemented by the national government on the income levels and livelihoods of the fishing community in the county, that is since the year 2022. And the final question is that the senator will want to understand from the cabinet secretary any measures that the minister has put in place
to ensure that funds set aside for blue economy interventions in Kisumu County are fully utilized and translate to tangible economic benefits for the local communities. Well, we can see on the red carpet aisle, that is the procession of the speaker right from the office into the Senate chambers. That is the